Hello aspirants, welcome to another session of the daily newspaper analysis. This video is brought to you by the Gurudev Academy. So these are the topics that we are going to look at. First topic that we are going to look at is the related to economics, that is retail inflation resurges to 7% at food prices mounts. So in India, the retail inflation is calculated using the CPI. Okay, it is calculated using the CPI here. So when we look at what is CPI, CPI measures the changes in the retail prices of goods and services. Right? Please remember, CPI measures in terms of goods and services, whereas your wholesale price index, right, that is WPI, it only measures the prices related to the goods. Then the CPI data is released on monthly basis, okay, and it includes both the goods and the services, as I've told. Right? So the base year is the calendar year. So this is your inflation. So what they're talking is that the retail inflation has increased. By what it has increased? It is increased by 7% in August. Fine. The numbers are not important for you. You have to understand few things here. Fine. So when we look at what are the talking points, the talking point is that the increase in the retail inflation is fueled by higher inflation in cereals. Fine. So when we look at overall goods, okay, overall goods on which the CPI is calculated, we have the consumer goods as well as manufactured goods. Okay, so under consumer goods you have the durable goods, non-durable goods here. So here when we look at the consumer goods in terms of your consumer products, that is food, the food inflation, okay, it is rising is what it is talking about, as well as this is said to be the 8th consecutive month. Okay, it is the 8th consecutive month wherein the retail inflation has been recorded more than 6%. What is the importance of 6%? See, RBI has to maintain the optimum level of inflation that should be prevailing in India. It is around 2 to 6%. Fine, it is around 2 to 6%, and the RBI has to maintain the inflation in this range only. But we are seeing that in this year, that this is the consecutive 8th month where the inflation is above 6%. It is a cause of concern again. Then experts feel that the various domestic causes. Lastly, they are talking about the causes. What are the causes because of which we have inflation here? It is because of the uneven monsoon and its negative effect on the food prices are driving inflation. Here what they are talking is that due to irregular monsoon, there has been less production of important food grains, and that is increasing the food prices, is what has been the official report. Nextly, when we look at what are the causes of concern, the causes of concern we look at one by one. Firstly, challenge to the spending power of the poor section. See, when we look at the rural area and when we look at the consumption basket, okay, consumption basket, that is what type of products they are consuming. Okay, like are they consuming food, are they consuming for clothing? Okay, so their total income. So when we look at the consumer basket, consumption basket in rural areas, it is mainly, okay, composed of your food goods. Okay, food items, mainly it is composed of food items. And now when the food prices are increasing, it is a cause of concern for the poorest section of the country as well as the rural area, is what is the cause of concern. Secondly, they are talking that high inflation with the not so steady industrial recovery. See, when there is inflation, when there is high inflation, RBI uses quantitative method, okay, quantitative policies, quantitative method by which it tries to reduce the inflation by increasing the interest rates. Right? So this can be done when the production, when the output, industrial output is also good. But if RBI decides to concentrate only on the inflation, and if it decides that the banking rates have to be increased, then it will be very bad for the industrial sector. What will happen is, if RBI increases the interest rates, the industrial sector have to gather the loan at a very costly rates. Right? So again, though we have inflation, we also have stagnation in the economy. Okay, stagnation, a form of a stagnation in the economy where the industrial industrial recovery is not going good. Next, in August, rural inflation reached 7.1%, whereas urban consumer inflation rate has increased from 6.72%. Now, when you look at it, the rural inflation is more than the urban inflation. Again, this is a very important concern, because rural area are the areas where you will not be having so much of spendings. Okay, when the income is already low in the rural areas, when the job creation is already very less, then in this scenario, when again we have inflation where the food items becomes very costly, it is a cause of concern for the rural areas again. Then consumer non-durable production has also reduced. Why it has reduced? Because the spending is already less. The spending is already less because there is higher prices for every goods. There is a lot of inflation that is prevailing in the market. So the production of your non-durable production is also decreasing because the consumption of non-durable goods is also decreasing here. Okay, that is why this is the problem. So these are the problems related to inflation. Please remember, when we look at the inflation, it is the retail inflation, means we are looking it through the CPI. Then you have to look at the data that I've showed, the data regarding to this, that is the urban inflation is less compared to the rural inflation. This is one of the data you have to gather, as well as this is another data that you have to look at, is that 8 months. It is the 8th month where the inflation has been higher than the 6%. Right. So moving to the next article, here they are talking about the eastern border stable. Okay. So this is related to what? This is related to the recent disengagement. Okay. Recent disengagement that has been happening between the Indian and the Chinese troops. We look at the issue here. So these are the issues that were in conflict when the conflict started in 2020. Okay. 2020, along this line only we had the conflict, that is your LAC. Okay, so now the disengagement is happening where? It is happening in this PP15, that is petroleum, that is your petroleum points. Okay, petroleum point 15, that is Hot Spring and Gogra. So when we look at the importance of PP15, PP15 is the 65 petroleum point. It is one of the 65 petroleum points that are there in your LAC, as per the understanding. Now that there has been disengagement, there has been few understanding that have been come up. That is, as per the understanding, there will be a buffer zone. Okay, it will be a buffer zone created. Buffer zone means what? If along the border there is a point here where there is a tension, then a buffer zone will be created here and here, where the enemy, the army, okay, will not enter this area. That is your buffer zone. This total area will be called as a buffer zone, and here there will be no entry of any army. Fine. So that is the buffer zone will be created here. The consensus about the disengagement was reached under the 16th round of India-China COP commander level meeting. Fine. So we have been having this regular COP level commander level meeting. This has been happening since the 2020 tensions that were prevailing in the LAC. Fine. So now under the 16th round of meeting that happened on July 17, 2022, this disengagement in Hot Spring and Gogra area has been reached. Fine. And now presently all the areas have been disengaged. There are only two areas that are remaining, that is Demchok and Deepsang. See, please remember, the Demchok is to the south of your Pangong Lake. Okay, to south to the Pangong Lake, whereas your Deepsang is along the Pangong Lake. Please remember this point. So now we have only 2 points that are remaining which are having tensions, that is Deepsang and Demchok. Here China is not ready to accept the disengagement because China believes that the issues that are present in Deepchong and Deepsang, they are not related to the 2020 conflict, but they have a historical origin. That is why China is not ready to accept these points as a point of disengagement. Fine. So again, when we look at the location, okay, when we look at the location of your Hot Spring, it is located north of the Changchemo River. Okay, Changchemo River. The area is north of the Karakoram Range. As you can see, the Hot Spring. Okay, it is to the north of the Karakoram Range here. Then here again the area lies very close to the Kongka Pass. Okay, please remember Kongka Pass. Kongka Pass is important because China believes that this marks the boundary between India and China. Fine. As well as this Hot Spring and Gogra post that has been disengaged recently, they are located in a very important geostatistical strategic location. Sorry, that is your Tibet as well as Xinjiang. Okay, so Tibet, very important. Okay, Tibet and Xinjiang have been two areas which have always been under tension. These areas that are Tibet, we know it is autonomous region of China, and Xinjiang, we know what happened in Xinjiang and all. Fine. So these two areas have been in tension, there have been a lot of tension, and these two areas lie very close to the Hot Spring and Gogra Pass is what we have here. Then moving ahead, so 8 African cheetahs to land in Jaipur on Friday. Okay, so again we have done cheetah relocation program in a lot of videos. Do check it out. So in brief, when we look at it, so how many cheetahs are coming? There are 20 cheetahs are coming right now. Whatever cheetahs are coming from Namibia, they are that are coming on Friday, they are coming from Namibia. That are 8 cheetahs are coming from Namibia, and again later on 12 cheetahs will be coming from South Africa. So initially for now we are trying to relocate only 20 cheetahs, but the number may go up to 40. Fine. And then where are they going to be relocated? They are going to be relocated in your Kunho Palhar National Park, that is in Madhya Pradesh. Fine. So again, what is the total? How many cheetahs can be there in this Kunho Palhar? There are 21 cheetahs. Right. So as I mentioned in previous videos as well, so previously we had a plan to relocate the Asian cheetah, but Asian cheetah is a critically endangered species and it is located only in Iran. That is why India went with African cheetahs. African cheetahs are vulnerable and they are bigger in size compared to the Asian cheetahs. Fine. So Asiatic cheetahs, they are bigger in size. So now they are going to be relocated. So more on the news when it will be announced, we will be following that up. Moving ahead. So states told to implement adoption rules. Okay, fine. So this is related to what? This is related to the recent notification that has been sent by Ministry of Women and Child Development. It has asked the state governments here to immediately implement the revised adoption rules that were adopted in the last year, that is 2021, and to be passed by the and also the adoption orders are to be passed by who? By the district magistrate. So overall, when we look at the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act here, the Juvenile Justice and Care and Protection of Children Act that was passed in 2015. So firstly, it was related to what? It was related to the offenses, serious offenses. Okay, serious offenses. Here, the children would be tried by who? It will be tried by the Juvenile Justice Board here. Then the act, okay, it also mentions the provisions for the for children who are in need of care and protection. This Juvenile Justice Act 2015, it was amended last year. Okay, we have the amendment here, amendment that was done last year. So here, there are two important provisions, that is your section 61 as well as your section 86. Section 61 says what? That the district magistrate has the power now to pass the order regarding adoption. Fine. The district magistrate, very important, section 61 of your JJ, amendment to the JJ Act of 2015, as well as section 86. Section 86 says that category serious offences with maximum imprisonment of 3 to 7 years against children as non-cognizable offences. Fine. So non-cognizable offences are those offences which cannot be tried, which cannot be investigated without the approval of the magistrate here. Fine. So we need the approval of the magistrate, whereas cognizable offence, okay, cognizable offence means the investigation can be done without the prior permission of the magistrate. Fine. So now this serious offences against children which had the punishment of maximum imprisonment of 3 to 7 years, such offences will be non-cognizable. Fine. So that is it about your article. Next is your Raktadana Amrit Mahotsav. Fine. So this is going to start when? It is going to start on September 17, 2022. What is the main objective? The main objective of the program is to create a repository. Okay, repository means a data. Okay, data bank of voluntary blood donors. So whoever are there in the country who want to voluntarily donate a blood, their data will be collected, and in case of emergency they will be contacted. Fine. So who could be contacted during emergencies here? And when we look at the standard, okay, what is the standard of blood donation? According to the standard, 1 unit of blood is equal to 350 ml. Fine. Usually a healthy person consists of 5 to 6 liters of blood in body. As per the rules, an individual can donate a blood once in 3 months. Okay, once in 3 months you can donate a blood. So this is the intention of this program here. Moving ahead, so center is trying to curb lumpy skin disease. Okay, so this is related to the speech that was made by your Prime Minister while inaugurating the Dairy Federation World Dairy Summit in Greater Noida. Fine. So here what did the Prime Minister say? The Prime Minister says that they are trying to control your lumpy skin disease. Fine. So when we look at what a lumpy skin disease is, it is a viral disease. Okay, it is a viral disease for the livestock. Which are the livestock that are affected by your LSD, that is lumpy skin diseases? That is your domestic cattle, water buffalo, and certain wild ruminants. Okay, like the livestock that they are talking. As well as when you look at what are the how do animals get infected, they mainly get infected by the blood feeding arthropod vectors, that is mosquito, biting flies, and ticks. Okay, through this the cattle is infected, and through this the lumpy skin disease is spread, is what the article is talking about. Fine. So that's it from today's video. You can follow us on these social media handles. You can follow us on YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, as well as on Facebook. Thank you.